The Republican case against President Biden has completely fallen apart, but they continue. But you've really lost when even the right-wing media, and I'm not talking about Fox News, that's right-wing. I'm talking about the MAGA right-wing media, the ones that populate Earth 2. When you've actually lost them, it's time to pack up. The Republicans just don't know how to do it. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Congress has oversight responsibility and should continue down that road. However, that does not mean that we should go towards impeachment. I have yet to see any evidence that would warrant the rise to impeachment.
More and more Republicans are starting to admit what we have known all along, that there is no evidence President Biden committed any high crimes or misdemeanors. Now, it's one thing for a member of Congress like Mike Lawler to start to say the quiet part out loud over on Earth 1, but it is another when over on Earth 2, Newsmax, the far-right network, which has had wall-to-wall coverage of the GOP impeachment circus, starts to say it too. Watch.
Is impeachment the next step? Are you going to hold a vote on the House floor? I know it's up to Mike Johnson, but the margins, Congressman, you lost Kevin McCarthy. Ken Buck left last week. George Santos was ousted. Unless you get Democratic votes, this is going to be real tough. So it kind of seems like you're chasing your tail at this point because this is not going to go anywhere.
No, fair question.
Joining us now, member of the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas Basel is also back with us. Representative Crockett, we have often described this as a vibes-based impeachment because that's it. There's no evidence. So I wonder what the vibes are like now in that room for your GOP colleagues who are starting to finally come to the realization that this is not going to happen.
The vibes in the room are definitely not that they have had a come to Jesus, as some would say. Instead, they really do feel like this is really important for them to do. It's all about campaigning because, as we know, this is a do-nothing Congress. And so we've done nothing productive. But when you come from a ruby red district, you end up winning votes or you win your primary because you get to say, Joe Biden really isn't the president. Joe Biden, he is worse than Trump. Joe Biden should be impeached. And so they're playing games. And honestly, the American people cannot afford to have another term where the Republicans are, quote unquote, in control because all they're going to do is play games. And honestly, this is like Russian roulette. It is very dangerous to decide that you are going to bring about impeachment in any form, even in the inquiry forum, simply because you feel like it will score you political points. Our system is supposed to be bigger and better than this, and it's a very dangerous precedent to set. And that's why you see even a Freedom Caucus member like Ken Buck saying, this is unconstitutional and I'm out.
It is sad, as Jasmine Crockett points out, we cannot afford to elect this Congress again. I've been speaking for a long time that I think the pathway is there for a landslide from the county house to the the state legislators, to the Congress, to the Senate, to the presidency, for a complete landslide takeover by people who actually are serious. In this case, Democrats. As I see it, I cannot see 2024 not being a landslide for Democrats and not being a landslide for thinking people. Because what Republicans have shown thus far is, and it's not thus far, it's since Bush, all of these guys, is they simply do not know how to govern. They don't like to govern. The only thing they want to do is ensure that government doesn't work, that the private sector will take over the role of government as they make a profit on each of our backs. It's not that they hate government, They just want government gone so that they can be bookies for the private sector who will come in and do everything for a profit. I mean, if you want to see some of that in action, come to Texas, right? Just about all these, a lot of these services are run by the private sector, which means profit becomes an expense. We build new freeways, we make them toll roads, and the toll roads, many of them are owned by whom again? Oh, foreigners, national security maybe? I don't know. But again, they're worried about TikTok. They need to worry about themselves. They need to worry about the types of policies they stand for. The Republicans continue to make a fool of themselves. And we, to some extent, will be complicit if we continue to hire them over and over again. I don't care if you're in a red district, a blue district, or what kind of district. If you elect the people who are actually harming your well-being, don't you deserve what you get? Even if you're told, you're being informed that they are in fact crooks, that they are incompetent. Folks, it is time for us to take responsibility for the votes that we make. It is time for us to make the votes that are going to make the country work again. For those of you who elected Brother Biden, and as much as Biden has some issues with many of us progressives, he's a president that got most of our progressive policies passed, more so than Obama, more so than Clinton, more so than many other Democrats. So again, when the election comes around, remember, vote your interest, not your ideology. Vote your interest and not your party.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.